Hello, my dear sisters. Hope you had a great week. This week we will meditate on the second principle that made Ruth a virtuous woman. If you didn't have the chance to watch the previous two videos, please do it. The second attitude that made Ruth experience a turnaround in her life was giving up the customs of her people. By marrying an Israelite and by saying to her mother-in-law that she worships the same God as her, she was giving up her own culture. Ruth 1:16 says, "But Ruth replied, 'Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God.'" Ruth was a Moabite. Their habits and customs were completely different from the Israelites' customs. She gave them up. She had pagan customs. The problem with many sisters is that they want to live the Christian life with their old habits, with a worldly mentality, a Moabite mentality. Let me tell you, beloved sisters, we are not of this world. Let's read Matthew 16:13-23. When Jesus came to the region Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. But what about you?" he asked. "Who do you say I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God." Jesus replied, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven." Then he ordered his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. From that time on, Jesus began to explain to his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things at the hands of the elders, the chief priests, and the teachers of the law, and that he must be killed and on the third day be raised to life. Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him. "Never, Lord," he said, "this shall never happen to you." Jesus turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns." This text is fascinating because Peter has a revelation. He expresses the mind of God concerning his son Jesus. Soon after Peter was rebuked, you can clearly see that his mind was under an evil influence when Jesus says, "Go behind me, Satan. You are not mindful of the things of God, but the things of man." The advice of Peter seemed to be gracious, with good intentions. Let me tell you, you do not follow the seemingly good advice of this word. Your standard is the word. "Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words will never pass away," says Matthew 24:35. The word is the truth. We are led by it. In 1700s, the French atheist writer Voltaire asserted that within 100 years, the Bible and Christianity will be wiped out of existence and will become history. Well, within 50 years, Voltaire passed away and became history, and the Geneva Bible Society used Voltaire's home and his publisher to print and distribute thousands of Bibles. What worries me is that we women are losing the purpose of God. A fortress was built in the minds of women, deceiving and robbing them of the mission that God has entrusted them with. They're lost in a sea of natural, earthly, and malignant ideologies. What is the custom of women in this land? Your standard and your model cannot be a woman who does not fear God. How many women listen to advice from women who do not fear God? Are your attitudes earthly or heavenly? When you understand that you are a new creature in Jesus Christ, that you are a child of God, your behavior does not change because you were forced to do so, but because you know who you are in God. Are your day-to-day habits the same of your past, where you gossip and are an authoritarian woman who is angry and sensual? The question is not whether it is sin. The concern of many is to prove that it is not sin. But Paul says in 1 Corinthians chapter 6:12, I have the right to do anything, but not everything is beneficial. The point is that our conduct should be not tarnished with a world appearance. Many use the freedom that Christ won for us on the cross to give way to the desires of the flesh. The greatest proof that you have been freed from the law is that you have no more pleasure in anything of this earth. Grace drew you into such an extent that the color of this world lost its charm. Oh, you yearn for heaven. Whoever lives under the law still wants to do what the world does and then pretends not to want it. You keep on feeding on the word. But remember, you are what you eat. We cannot have the same thoughts as the filthy words. Our desire has to be holy, not obsessive and selfish. Our emotions cannot be uncontrolled. But you may say, how? 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verse 18 says, but we all with open face, beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. Our transformation will come as we contemplate the Lord. His image is being impregnated on us, and we are transformed. The point is that we resemble that which we behold. What have we been beholding? Who do we really want to look like? I have felt the Lord saying that many say, Lord, change me. But God has said they do not want to look like me. They have other models in social media, in their professional careers. So, my precious sisters, my advice to you today is, behold the Lamb.